How's everyone doing? We're live, we're live, we're live. Tell the family, tell the dogs, tell the auntie, tell everyone we're live. Wu-Sabat, Ask Us Anything. Season 2, episode 13. Master Teacher. Rahubat, Rahubat. Rahubat DB, peaceful. Greetings. Yeah, we're just waiting for more people to join. Rahubat, greetings family. Rahubat Moisar. The lies must fade away. Rahubat Kali Monk. Rahubat Travis. Rahubat Desire for Truth. Rahubat Given. LLC. Kali Monk. Rahubat Chris. Terry Jamal. Rahubat. Rahubat to everyone joining. Rahubat means greetings. Watson. Rahubat. Oliver Rose. Rahubat. Queen Rahubat, Queen Nubia, Rahubat, Queen Nubian Universe, Rahubat Viv, Rahubat, Lizoya, Rahubat, Rahubat, Rahubat everyone. Let the world know we're live, we're live. Oh, there's some vision in the house. Our souls matter. Yeah, let everyone know we're live. Rahubat Eagle, Rahubat Io Aqua, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Rahubat, Rahubat, Rahubat. I guess by now everyone has learned one wu-nuwapu word, one misbatil word. That's Rahubat. Yeah, Rahubat. Greetings. Freedom for the master. We're going to keep singing that until he's home. Rahubat Prof. Remember to share the link to at least 9 people. You know the number 9. 9 ether, 9 mind, 9 reasoning. 9th to the 9th power of 9. So share it to 9 people and let them share it to another 9 people. And let's just keep it going. Yeah, Rahubat, Rahubat. Wait a few more minutes so we can get more people on. Rahubat Dija. Rahubat Latifa. Latifa's way. Couldn't have it any other way, right? Rahubat. Antone Moore, Rahubat. Rahubat Eagle Sky Media. Bring the master teacher home now. Free the master teacher. Bring him home now. Okay, it's 5 minutes past 7 p.m. in the UK GMT. And yeah, let's get it on. Let's get the show on the road. Before we do, as usual, we want to give thanks and appreciation, love our ancestors, the master teacher, Pana Babyanun, who has bestowed this knowledge, right wisdom, and the right understanding on us and on the world. You know, without him, none of this would be possible. So we have to always give reverence and keep him in our mind and in our visualization. We want to see him home in the flesh now. We only really deal with now as a time because, you know, change is constant. And every time I say now, 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 it's a different now. The first ones have gone. So we live in the moment, we live in the now. So we want the master teacher home now. We love Pana Babyanun with all our heart. You know, we are so grateful for what he has done, for what he has endured, still, you know, suffering. And we want to free pops, yes. Kill Hall, yes, free pops. You know, try hards, 1, 2, 3, Rahubat. What's the song Reflection? Yeah, the song, if you're talking about the song I'm playing, it's from Love and Unity and it's called Freedom for the Master Teacher. Rahubat Clark, Leo Wright, Peace and Love Family, Rahubat. Son Ra 999, Rahubat. All right, yeah, so for those who are joining us for the first time, yeah, you're on the station, OSM Vision, the only station that matters right now. Because all we're doing is really, you know, pushing out Wu-Sabat and, you know, just really pushing out Wu-Sabat for the master teacher and for us because it's our liberation. And, yeah, if you're new, this is a live YouTube stream that we do every Tuesday. We have someone already on the line. Rahubat, greetings. What's your name, where you're calling from, and what's your question, please?
Greetings again. This is Jose Hotep.
Rahubat, Joseph Hotep.
Yes, yes, again, there is some questions that I posted on the group, Telegram group, and I didn't get answers.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, quite a few, because, you know, 2030 is around the corner, so we're running out of time.
We've run out of time. We've been run out of time, but go ahead. That's why I say we only operate on the now. But yeah, let me just say something about the questions on the Telegram, and I want to also, I don't like using the word apologize because it's giving, you know, you're giving reverence to Apollo, the god of Apollo, when we say apologize.
Right.
But I want to say sorry to people who are sending me private messages directly that sometimes I don't get a chance to look at. If I ever show you my Telegram, there's so many groups I'm in. So sometimes I scroll through and I'll catch a question. So the best way is to prompt in the group, and there are other student teachers as well who can assist with answering questions. And as the group is growing, it's going to become more and more difficult for us to actually, you know, answer all the questions in a timely manner. So we're trying our best. But on the live, obviously, because other people are calling, if you could just ask, you know, the 1 or 2 questions that you want to get answered, I'll do my best. And then we'll catch up with the rest on Telegram. Or you can feel free to call back again throughout the program, okay? So go ahead.
Okay, all right, I'll do that. So I'll pick 2 questions from the 5, which are more important. I will start with, actually, all of them are important. I'll start with the last one, which is that knowing that we can eat from 12 to 8 p.m. daily, I would like to know what is the permitted or allowed time to eat while fasting. That's number 1.
Okay. The thing is, with the eating, every individual is different and could be going through a particular situation or circumstance. Like, for example, if somebody's ill or, you know, they're not able on medication or something that might cause them not to be able to do what we've been taught by the master teacher. But the point about the eating is that you have the circadian rhythm or cycle where your body naturally has been designed to intake food at a particular time, which is what you just said, between the 12 to 8, and that's your intaking, and then you have a time where you have to allow that food to digest, yeah, and during that time you shouldn't really be eating. That's why most people would tell you not to eat after 9 o'clock, or most people say stop eating at 8 p.m. And so that food will digest, and then you have the other 8 hours where you're going to eliminate, because it's a cycle. Everything is a cycle. The way the body works, it's a cycle. So, you know, you intake, you let it digest and you eliminate, and then that's how your body gets used to that cycle, and then you'll find out that your body's working much better. So that's to relate into the food. In terms of fasting, there are different types of fasting, and we are generally advised to fast the first 3 days of the month, and
Yeah.
also on our birthday, whatever the anniversary of your birthday is, you fast on that day as well. So when you
Yes.
add that up, that's like at the very least you're fasting like 4 days a month, and when you add that over 12 months, you're constantly cleansing. But we also have two major fasts that we do when we bring in the summer solstice and also the winter solstice, which are on the 21st, and that is a little bit more intensive, because fasting actually can, the master has told us, can actually cure most ailments, but it depends on how long you fast. And even Dr. Sebi was, well known for saying he fasted, I think it was like 40 days or something, and that got rid of a lot of the things he was suffering with at the time, which was impotence and his eyes, he had so many issues, and the fasting eliminated most of them. There are different types of fast, so you can do a dry fast, which is nothing at all, which we don't recommend because your body needs water for lubrication and also for hydration. So you can do a water only fast, you can do juices only, and you can break your fast with, some people don't eat at all for the whole like entire 24 hours, and others will break the fast at sundown, and you break it with something light, like a miso or a lentil soup. You're not eating big solid things that are going to take time to digest and eliminate. So the whole thing about fasting is really about your lifestyle. It's about doing something that becomes a lifestyle, and not just you just do it when you're ill, and that keeps your body really clean most of the time. And then it's not what you put into your body, but how to get it out. So again, things like colon cleanse, because people may have been eating meats and eating all kind of things that have chemicals and pesticides, and they haven't done a colon cleanse in a long time. So I don't know if that's helped you, but yeah, if
Just to add on what you mentioned, there is also the birth date of Baba,
yeah.
which also there's fasting for 9 days. My question was specifically regarding what time to start eating. So I can eat any time during that period between.
Are you talking about during the
8
times you're fasting or in general?
during the times we fasting?
That's what I'm
Because of
saying. Different people doing different fasts, they would do it from sun up to sundown. So sundown would be when, we know the sun doesn't go up and down, but I'm just saying in terms of what people call sundown. But
Yes.
yeah, so when the sun goes down, and obviously in the winter, it's easier because it gets dark quite quickly.
Correct.
And in the summer, it takes a lot longer for, it can be till like 8 o'clock or sometimes like 6, 7. Winter time is a lot quicker, so the day seems shorter. But yeah, normally people would do it from when start eating when the sun goes down. But if you're somebody that is just like fasting without eating, then you wouldn't eat. You will just drink water all throughout. That's a pure water fast, nothing else. You don't take any food at all.
Okay, that's noted. Thank you very much.
You're
I'll
welcome.
get one more
Okay.
question, which is simple, I guess. The difference between ancestor and guardian.
Yeah, I did see that question, and I was going to answer it in the Telegram group, and then I got
Yes.
distracted, and that's it. The whole day was gone. There's no difference. They're the same, except for not all your ancestors will guide you. See, so when you say the difference, if they're your ancestors, they're your ancestors, meaning that you're related to them in some way through the bloodline. However, you have agreeable and disagreeable ancestors. The agreeable ones will guide you because they want you to succeed in whatever you're doing in life. And sometimes it may be because you need to help them also because they may be trapped or need you to help free them. So not all your ancestors are going to be, you know, benevolent or able to guide you. So the difference is that you have ancestors that are not going to guide you. So that's really the difference between the two.
Okay, so I can loudly say that our ancestors or our guardians are the ones that are the good ones.
The agreeable ones. Yeah.
Yes.
But remember, when I just answered the question, I was talking specifically about yours, right? But we also have collectively ancestors. So our collective ancestors, like what we say, for example, the overseers, the Natharu, they are agreeable. So they guide all of us. But it's like a chain of command. We've had about 10 calls come in whilst I've been speaking to you. This is why we have to keep the questions short, or just one or two, but it's fine. Let me just finish. So what I'm saying is that collectively, we have ancestors because we all go back to the same bloodline. But it's almost like a chain of command. So the ones that are closest to you in your bloodline, say, for example, your mother, your father, your grandmother and grandfather, they're closest to you genetically. You're more linked to them. But you have very distant ones as well. So the ones that are closest to you are your immediate ones. And then you ask those for things that are personal to you. And then the ones that are more distant, or like our, what we call the overseers or the Natharu, they are who you contact for something that is for us collectively as a, you know, as a tribe, as a nation. You see what I'm saying? So it's like if you wanted something done in your local constituent, see, you will go to your local MP. You wouldn't be able to go straight to the Prime Minister. So that's kind of how it works. You go to those who are closest to you, and then, you know, obviously if they can't deal with the problem, then you might go further and further and try and go to the highest, which in the UK would be, let's say, the Prime Minister, or in the States it might be the President. But you have to start off with the people that are closest to you first, because you can reach them quicker. All right?
All right, second, overstood. I may call later for other questions. So thank you very much.
Tua, you're welcome. And tap Afia Afo. Okay, let's keep going with the questions in the chat until we get another call. For those who are trying to call, you know, please just be patient and call back if you can't get through, because, you know, if I'm answering your question, you would like me to finish, right? Okay, cool. Let's see what the chat is saying. Are there any questions in the chat? I wasn't in the UK last week, and I really like what you do. Oh, you wasn't in the UK, or what you was? If you were, you should have stopped by. Come and see us. All right. For those who don't know, the number to call in, if you're calling from outside the UK, you have to put the +44. All right. And then 753 996 3882. Let me repeat that. +44 from outside the UK, 753 996 3882. Right, that's the number to call live and ask your question if you have one. Okay, there's a question from TryHards123. Do you know the specialty with those born with 6 fingers? I don't know what you mean by specialty, but a lot of people that have genetic mutations come by way of genetic or in the ancestry going back generations, because as we've explained many times, you get like throwbacks in genes, in the sense that if you go back to how people ended up with different types of features, it's because of experiments that were being done and with extraterrestrials, which goes back to a time where extraterrestrials used to actually create beings and come and show them off on the planet Earth. And many mixtures with different, you know, animals and things like that caused, you know, genetic mutations. So hirsutism, for example, the hair all over people's faces. You have the 6 fingers and 6 toes, as you've mentioned. You know, you got Siamese twins. You got so many different things that come by way of the throwback in genetics. So when you say specialty, I don't know what you mean by specialty, because everyone is special in their own way and right. All right. Greetings, Chris 32420. Terry Jamal, with regards to our ancestors, how can one know if they come from the Pa-Natharu or the Pa-Anunnaki? Well, I mean, it's who you resonate with and who you align with. And you could come from both, you know, because it depends how far back you're going in terms of the mixtures. But you know by way of what you do, because you are the product of where you come from. So the way you act and behave and the things you resonate with, the things you're attracted to, will tell you. So for example, Wu-Sabat is something that is a culture that comes from the Pa-Natharu. And so if you're more drawn to Wu-Sabat and it can resonate with you and you feel it from inside you, when you hear the information, you get things called a DNA explosion, and you connect with it and you're like, wow, that's the truth, and I want to get involved, I want to know more, and you start your journey. And others will hear it and they're more inclined to be in a religion, and they can't let go of religions, and they do what the book tells them, because those books come by way of the deities of the book. So, you know, they will never want to leave it, because it's like it resonates with their bloodline or their genetics. And that's obviously speaking in general terms, because you can be in religion and come across Wu-Sabat and you move away from it, which is what most people are doing today. So all the people that resonate with Wu-Sabat from a Christian background, from a Muslim background, from a Hebrew background, they're now all coming over to Wu-Sabat because it resonates with their DNA and their genetics. You see, it is a DNA doctrine, so you know by what you're doing and what you kind of resonate with. All right. Right, keep going. Anything else? Right, TBJ, I can't sync with online registration, need tech support. Right, so we have a WhatsApp group that deals purely with supporting people in terms of registration and things like that. If you're not in the Telegram group, join the Telegram group. And this is another thing, you all can help us. If you haven't subscribed to OSM Vision yet, please do that. That really help us. Do that now. Just hit the button, subscribe. You help us to reach more people and to help more people. So, you know, we really appreciate love if you could just subscribe, share the videos. Obviously, make sure you hit the notification bell so that we can keep you in contact and let you know what's happening. We've got another call on the line, so let me go straight to the call. Rahubat, greetings. What's your name, where you calling from, and what's your question?
Rahubat speaking.
Hey, Rahubat.
Yeah, I'm Islam from South Africa.
Hey, hi, Islam, how you doing?
I'm good, you?
Yeah, doing my best. Always a pleasure to try my best to help in terms of sharing Wu-Sabat. So go ahead, what's your question?
All right. So, I've been watching Young Elder for a while now, and I wanted your confirmation what you think of King Yahweh.
So your line's a little bit muffly. You were watching the Young Elder and what's happened?
And I wanted your confirmation about King Yahweh. Is he...
About... I heard you wanted my
Yahweh.
confirmation about...
King Yahweh.
King Yahweh.
Yeah, I wanted to know if it's true he's Enki's avatar or something like that.
I'm struggling to hear you. You're wondering if he's what, sorry?
Enki's avatar.
Oh, Enki's avatar.
Yeah.
Right. The thing
And
about
the second
yeah, go ahead.
the second one is what do you think of life path numbers?
Life path numbers.
Life path numbers. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
All right. Towel hat. Thanks. Yeah. The thing about the young elder and a lot of the information coming out of the holy tablets, because even last week when somebody else asked a question about Mother Hoover, and so I went back and I think that is relayed in the holy tablets from page 421. And I'm saying even in relation to, you know, some of the information that you're asking me, some of it, when I was reading that back just to be like, okay, let me check it out.
The young elders here.
Oh, is he there? Yeah. Cool. So the young elder is our brother. I know he supports a master teacher. He puts out a lot of information about the master teacher. And as I've said, a lot of the times, he's really the person that people should address on the information that he's putting out. But a lot of information is in the holy tablets. And when I was reading that, a lot of it, you know, as I always say, there's information that is symbolic, there's information that is allegorical, there's information that it needs expounding on. And the master teacher told us that the holy tablets has expired. Not to say that we shouldn't read it. For those who've never read it, then obviously it's going to be new information. But he's really telling us to focus on the hereafter doctrine, which is the master secrets, actual facts, and Patarak. And that's what, you know, those who are really following the you know, the directions of what the master teacher are doing. And, you know, we try to stick to the hereafter doctrine. And he has said, that is the master teacher, that, because some people may not even be aware that the original holy tablets had to be revised because it was sabotaged by the printers who printed it, which were Christians. And some say it was intentional. So the master, because I'm saying that to say there was a lot of information that people were saying it's not making sense, or, you know, it's not adding up. And then the master teacher had to explain to us that he had to revise it and reprint it and correct, you know, that information. But he said, even with the sabotaging, it was still predominantly on point. It was still correct. The information was correct. It was just that it was moved out of place, or dates and things were moved around. But he said he is going to revise the holy tablets and bring it up to date. So I'm not going to confirm or not confirm what somebody else is saying. It's really down to them to do that. And yeah, but the Holy Tablets is a great book to read and to get a lot of information. And I'm going to leave it as that. Was there a second part to that?
Life path numbers.
Yeah, life path numbers. Again, this is where, when you look at numbers, you have to remember that the numbers that most of us are using today come from Arabic, okay? And we as Sabians or Nuwapians, we are above numbers, people, places, and things. However, there is energy in numbers, just like everything else has energy, right? Hence, we push the number 9, because we know 9 is the highest number, 9 to the 9 power of 9. But even when we're saying 9, that's how low we have fallen. Because when you're dealing with 9 to the 9 power of 9, you know, the 9s keep going. So we're basically saying that, yes, it's dealing with mathematics, it's dealing with energy, it's dealing with alignments, and you can decipher things with mathematics or with numbers. When you say life path, what I'm basically saying is that you don't need to rely on anything external or numbers to give you or tell you what your life is something that's happening in real time every day, and you are in control, and you can make changes or not make changes to your life. So what I'm basically saying is, like, some people, for example, get so hung up on someone or something else telling them what to do that they won't come out if certain things are not in alignment, or if they feel like, you know, they woke up today, they read a horoscope or something that says this is going to happen, and they give it energy to the point where it then decides what they do for that day, which, you know, we don't live like that. We don't deal with luck. We make things happen. So, but yeah, I mean, I know that, like, the numbers that people see, I see a lot of numbers on the phone. You know, every time you look at your phone, you look at, and then you go on the internet and they tell you, oh, these are angel numbers and this means this and this means that. And I'm saying, like, live your life based on your, you know, your decision making, and not, especially if it's not coming from a guide or someone that you can trust, you know, like we know. And this is what the beauty about Pound Babyan and Dr. Malachi Z York is that, can you imagine how beautiful it is to have someone that tells you the truth and has always told you the truth, and you can trust in what he says to the point where, you know, you've got a solid foundation to go by. This is why, although we encourage people to research and read books from other people, our foundation is with the master teacher. That's the person that has been sent here to guide us. And so that's where you should really be putting your trust and energy in what he says, you know, not what anybody else says, all right? And I know people will say, yeah, well, he's not the only one. There are other teachers. There were other teachers who have paved the way or passed on information, but he has come to complete that, you know. So it doesn't matter whether you were listening to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, or you know, you come from, you know, the Moorish Science Temple or Nation of Islam or Christianity, you know, whatever walk of life you were on. Now is the time. We're dealing with the now, and that's who is here now to deal with what we need to do for the next 24,000 year cycle. So, you know, study them, but really know there is no one else that can take you where you need to go. If you don't accept it, that's down to you, that's fine. But in the 9, the scroll called the 9 by Parnabab Yanun, he explains and tells us that this is our, you know, our final chance. I'm talking about this scroll here, the 9. Yeah, the last 2 pages literally tell you that this is our final chance and time. So, okay, we've got another caller. Rahul Bat. I think it's Kaiser. Rahul Bat, how you doing?
Back again.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Doing my best.
Yes, Kaiser.
Yeah. What's your questions today?
Yes. How have you been? How's you and your family doing? How's everybody doing over there? Or Sam?
We're doing good. We're doing good. You know, just putting in the work.
Yeah.
Just doing our best. Tawat.
That's awesome. Thank you to you guys. You know, I always like and share videos. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that anytime I see a video, I share it to friends and family. And each person that gets on, it adds another person that adds their friends and family, and it adds up. So like y'all are at 2,000, like almost 2,000 followers at the Telegram. So congrats again.
Peace and love, man. That's what we're saying. Sometimes it's that easy because, like you're saying, we do have strategies, and every single leader that has come along has said our powers is in our numbers. And when we unite in love and unity, and when I say ours, I always have to emphasize, ours is anybody that is about truth, about love, about unity. It's not dealing with colors, you know, racism and any of that. So something as simple as just sharing, subscribing and liking really helps us to reach the world. So we really appreciate what you just said. All right, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Kim. So so my question is, could you in the live today teach me a little bit about what Malachi York's talking about? Teach me a little bit about the hereafter doctrine, since you mentioned that. I heard you saying, you know, when I asked about Mother Huba, and Young Elder is on the live now. So yeah, he did a video about Mother Huba a little bit, and the correlation between him and her. I mean her and Anu, like who's Anu's sister, and who basically the thing is, what I learned from the video was he's saying, Young Elder's saying, she's responsible for reptilians, and they fight against Lyrans, feline beings like the Thundercats. You had the Lion Roar, that war that was in Star Wars. So like there was a war with reptilians versus king, a king, a tiger. He's a king. So yeah, those are real extraterrestrials. So wanted to know, like, teach about the rest of that, so the hereafter doctrine, and what really happened between these reptilians, which are conquering entities out there that are on our planet too. You know what I mean? So they're like, if you watch the video, it's showing like they're the people that are hiding. Kind of like Queen Elizabeth might have been one. You know what I'm saying? So they're
Yeah, I
hiding,
mean, this is what I'm
and
saying. When
tricking
we say
people.
reptilians,
So I don't know more about that.
yeah, there
Yeah.
are so many different species of reptilians, and we've explained that we are tied into that in terms of when you're saying a reptilian, there are reptilians that, when we're talking about extraterrestrials, in terms of from different, different star systems, and there have been many wars going on, and some of these, reptilians, they even come together in an alliance to, if they have a common objective, or to benefit, have a mutual benefit from something. But what I'm saying is there are so many different types of reptilians. There are those who are here that shapeshift. We, as you know, start off as a sperm looks like a tadpole, which is in water. And so what I'm saying is that the term reptilian is very broad, and different species, you have agreeable ones and you have disagreeable ones. When I went back after your question last week to revisit the Holy Tablets and revisit that section, I think, as I said, it began on page, I think, 421. I read it again, and it was like, that's why I was starting to say that the way it was written, some of it is very symbolic, some of it is allegorical. And so what I'm saying is I'm not going to try and comment on something that it kind of goes quite broad and quite deep, and the master has told us that really it has expired and we need to focus on the hereafter doctrine. And when we say the hereafter doctrine, that's dealing with the master secrets, the actual facts, and the Partaruk, and all the updates that he has given us. So like I said, I'm not trying to say what is written in the Holy Tablets is not useful, but he says at the end of it, this is how it was received and how it was recorded. But now he's like, let's focus on the Parnatharu, not the Anunnaki, because most of the Holy Tablets is dealing with the Anunnaki stories. But we're now in the stage where he's teaching us about our, ancestors as the Parnatharu, dealing with Africa and not Mesopotamia in terms of, Anunnaki stories. And yes, some of our families tied into that in terms of Enki going into Africa, taking wives and having offspring on the planet. You have many extraterrestrials that have also got children and hybrids on the planet, both from, like, for example, Venus, from, you have beings like Val Thor, you have many Caucasian or European type beings on the planet that are also tied to different, what you call reptilians, you see. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure what exactly you want me to really answer in terms of the information is in the Holy Tablets about the Anunnaki and that stuff. So, like I said, I'm really trying to, like you say, what we should be focusing on is actual facts, which go into more of the Parnatharu. I guess you can ask the young elder. I mean, he's putting out the videos. I haven't seen the new video that you're talking about from him, but ask him. All right, I got another caller, so I'm going to have to leave that there. Rahubat, caller, what's your name and where are you calling from? What's your question, please?
Rahubat, my name is Christopher. I'm calling out of Little Rock, Arkansas.
Yeah.
And My first question is, how do we reach Nibiru? I'm looking to save my family. I want to know, how do we reach the mother plane? Is there certain things we need to do? Second question is, the planets are aligning this month, and I want to know if there's anything that we should be doing spiritually or mentally to help better the situation, or is there anything we're supposed to be doing? Third question, how do we talk to Baba Yanun? Can we
Okay.
talk to him through letters or through dreams?
Okay, tell that. All right. Let me, yeah, because sometimes certain questions come up over and over and over again. And we try to simplify it as much as possible. What we say is, if you're considered or you're considering yourself to be a Nuwapian Sabian, then the simple thing is, first of all, get with a community. Get inside a community where you will be guided on, right, what you're supposed to do. As a brother, as a sister, we have orders, and within the orders is where certain information is divulged, and it's not all going to be publicly available. So if you're not inside a community, then you may not get certain information, right? So that's number one. And when you're in the community, you will know what we're being advised to do or not to do. So things like, how do I get to Nibiru? Like, Nibiru, first of all, has all types of beings that, and there are different types of ships called Nibiru. You have like smaller versions of crafts that come out of Nibiru called Nibiru. It's like a fleet, for lack of a better word, right? So I'm saying, when you're inside the community, if you're a brother, you should then be in the brotherhood. If you're a sister, you should be in the sisterhood. If you're not able to yet be in any of those orders, and we have other orders for, you know, the part Tashrut, which is the young disciples, or the young order for student teachers. We have the elders. I'm saying that to say that people don't follow the basic steps that we basically share, to say, look, get inside a community so that you can get information that's not available publicly. That's number one. In terms of how do you, I'm saying that because the master teacher is the guide, and he will tell us what we need to do and when we need to do it at the time we need to do it. And so if you're listening to what he's saying, then you have to really follow the instructions. Number two, you should be working on yourself spiritually anyway. That's reading the scrolls for yourself. These videos are good, and you get sound bites, snippets. Telegram, we give you some information, but you have to read the scrolls for yourself so that you're developing yourself inside and out. And in the scrolls, he tells you how to communicate and contact Yanun. You know, we have, you know, rituals and images and things that you focus on and try, you know, contact him. You can contact him if you've developed yourself to that level spiritually as well. So in terms of letters and so forth, we have a legal team that deals with what you're allowed to do and not allowed to do, because it may affect him, because there are rules and regulations in terms of who can write and who cannot write. And so when people don't listen and follow instructions and go through the right avenues from working from the inside out, and they're out there, yes, they may have been a Nuwapian for a very long time, but things have changed and a lot of information has changed. And if you're not current, then you're out there pushing and teaching a lot of the times old information that is obsolete or has been updated. And you can actually end up being a part of the problem instead of a part of the solution. This is why he also emphasizes come together, love and unity, work together from the inside out. And if you're doing that, you're going to know, you're going to be in the know. All right. So to answer the questions again, are you, why or how are you trying to contact Nibiru when you have a master teacher who's here to guide us and let you know when and how we're going to, for those who are able to, you know, be privileged enough to be around him or to make it, he will guide you and tell you and let you know what you need to do. You can develop yourself spiritually and be able to contact him spiritually. physically you cannot write him at the moment, but if you're in the right forums, in the right orders and so on, you will get information given and shared with you. I can't remember, was there a third part to that question? I think I've covered everything.
Yeah, it was.
If you can just remind me.
Nibiru, planets aligning and speaking.
Oh yeah, the planets aligning. Planets align all the time, and like I said before, we're in a day and time where, 2025 going to 2030 to 2043, if you've read the Holy Tablets, there's significant changes, the thunders are happening, and this is why it's important to be in the know. There's a chapter in the 9 called Meteorite, right? And in that chapter, Partner Babylon always warns us and tells us what's going to happen way before it happens. Some of that is not shared publicly. And yeah, there is a chapter called Meteorite where he has spoken about there will be a meteorite hitting the planet. I'm just seeing if I can find that chapter. Yeah, here you go. Page 103, right? Where it's quite short. I can probably read it. Nuwapians, know that the day shall soon arrive when the big meteorite shall strike this planet. All will be shocked. Fear of the end of the world. That is not the end of the whole world, but there will be much destruction, much deaths and injuries. A day and days to follow. Because of it, people who were separated will join as one. The fears will have powers stronger than separations and racism. Apophis, Abaddon, Apollyon, destruction will change the minds and the hearts of the people, right? And you can read that in Revelations 9, from 1 to 21. Now that was just a short, small chapter that has stated something that is saying that we shouldn't have to wait for calamity like a meteorite for us to come together as people in love and unity on the planet. But he's saying that the time will come when something of that magnitude will happen that will make us realize that our differences such as racism and the separations with things like religions and the I-ness, I think this, I think that, I, he's saying like, we're going to have to drop all of that and come together. And this is what Wu-Sabat is here to do. So if you really want to be in the know and be guided by the guide, the one who has been sent to prepare us for anything that's coming, you should be in the inside. Put away the differences. I don't like that person, I don't like this one, or, all those things are really very trivial on the grand scale of things. So we got to come together, all right? And that kind of related to a question I saw somebody else ask. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, this Eagle Sky Media. I've been in Nuwapian since 1997. Used to go to the classes in Brixton, etc., Hackney, Shepherd's Bush. Okay, that's great. I didn't see a question, but this is what I'm saying, that there were many people who came across the master teacher, from when he started opening the seventh seal in the 1970s, 80s, 90s. And there are many people out there that, because he got incarcerated, kidnapped, lied on, etc., many people turned their backs, or they didn't really know where to plug in. But now is your opportunity to come back home and get involved, because the fight to free him is still on, and we will be successful. So get involved with the communities, get involved with the stores, bring what you have to give, bring your skills, bring your love, and let's come together in love and unity. All right. Let's see what else we got on here. I don't know what that was about. Someone said change the battery on your smoke detector. I don't know what that's about.
It was the WhatsApp was beeping.
Oh, yeah, no, I saw the alarm I heard it. Okay.
WhatsApp.
Okay, can you break down the difference between life path numbers 1 to 9 and master numbers 11, 11, 22, 22, 33? Yeah, I was saying that before about numbers. Yeah, we know that numbers 9 and 6 relating to 9 ether, 6 ether, and that's all in our book. That's another thing as well for people who are trying to catch up, because obviously you have a lot of information to digest. We've obviously put out this scroll that you can carry with you, fast track your spiritual and conscious journey, that brings you up to date quickly for people like the brother, or I think it's a sister, that brother or sister that was saying they've been around since 1997. But you gotta, if you haven't been up to date with the actual facts, master secrets, and Partarak, there's so many that you've got to try and catch up on, all right? So come home. I wonder if you can fast too much. Yes, you can fast too much. And this is from standard procedure. We avoid the extremes as Nuwapians, as Sabians. You can fast too much because, for example, not only too much, but in the wrong way. And then you can actually damage your health where, you know, like when people fast, like the way, you know, the Mohammedans do in what they call Ramadan, that's not a very healthy or good way to fast, because you know, you're fasting for long lengths of time without any water, and you can get dehydrated, and you know your lungs and your livers and things like that can be affected. So there is a wrong way to fast, and too much fasting is, or not done correctly, can be bad for you. I mean, that is not bad. You said, for example, if you committed to fasting every weekend for 48 hours, there's nothing wrong with that, because it's not too long. 48 hours is not that bad. And as long as you're, you know, drinking water. And again, people have to remember, what is the purpose of fasting when you're fasting? What is it for? Fasting is not just about abstaining from food. You know, it's about your thoughts as well. It's about the things you think and what you're doing. It's abstaining from other things, you know, sexual activities, gossiping, and just like, is it for health? Is it for mental clarity? Is it for spiritual, you know, for spirituality? There are many reasons for fasting. But there are health benefits to fasting. We cover all that in the book as well. I'm so thankful for OSM Vision. I've been seeking this knowledge all my life. This year, it's finally being shown to me. I'm so grateful. That's Concept 85. Yes, all praise is due to Parnabab Yanun, Dr. Malachi Z.K. York, the master teacher. That's what he's dedicated his life to doing, and that's what we're doing. And, you know, so yeah, it's always, you know, we always have to put him in our thoughts, remember him. And everybody does their part. Join our Telegram group, share it with others, add other people, because there's strength and power in numbers. We can move mountains and do many things with our unity. What is better, this is from Class Jan, what is better to do when you die, cremation or bury? At the moment, cremation. There's so much going on, and this is partly why we tell people to stop eating meat, stop eating red meat, stop eating meat, because you don't know what meat you're eating. And cremation gets rid of that flesh, and you go back to the energy, and the essence of you is released to the ethers. When you bury, it's a lot longer for you to decompose. You're tied to that entity physically, because the life is in the blood, you know, your spirit, and it takes a long time before your complete essence is no longer trapped here. So in our rightful environment, we used to carry out particular rituals and do certain things like embalming and so forth in ancient Tamaray. So when you're not in a position where you're doing that, and you don't know what's happening to your loved ones and the body, the best way is to cremate. I'm here from the seven seas, wicked and mean. Whoa, I don't know. That's no question. Class Jan, yeah, I've answered the question. Let's keep going. Okay, this is, have you liked this video?
Tell them let them know to like it.
Yeah, have you liked this video? If you haven't, then please like it. It just takes 2 seconds. You will help us. You get the algorithm to know that people love this content and they're interested in hearing it. And you help us to help you, to help others, all right? So yes. I just saw, okay, Mara Mia. Okay, let's go. Sorry, how'd you get rid of it? Okay, there you go. Would you say all or most answers are in the Master's Teacher Scrolls? I understand there is valuable information in the scrolls, but it's like not only am I busy at times, but it's like if I'm going to have to read the scrolls, I might as well try to read the Bible as well, because isn't it pretty much the same things to read Bible and all? No, not at all. Absolutely not at all. And there's a science behind reading the books, because you can't even compare the Bible to the scrolls by the Master Teacher. There's a science, because the science is in his writing and the way he writes, the miracles in the books. That's what triggers you off, and it's a formula to activate your DNA, and you get something called DNA explosions when you're reading the scrolls. It recalibrates your being, and you get sound bites when you're just getting pieces and listening to just parts of information. So the value is in reading the books. And if you're saying you're busy and don't have time, then you have to ask yourself, what's the priority? What's more important to you? Is it your soul or whatever it is you're busy doing? And we're not saying don't, do other things, but this is soul information transforming you from the inside out. And so it's up to you, whatever you think is more of a priority to you reading. And yeah, it's not the same as reading the Bible, because you're reading the Bible that doesn't really answer your questions or give you the answers that you want and connects you with your higher self and your ancestors and higher beings. So that's an insult, really, to saying it's the same as reading the Bible. You can read the Bible if you want, but you're not going to get the answers from the Bible. Being serious, does the name Wu-Sabat relate to the name Wu-Tang? Obviously, like when it comes to language, Wu-Sabat or Mishbatia, as in the language, the Lahej, was first, and other words come from the language. So you will find words in other languages or other phrases, etc., that are from Mishbatia. So, Wu, but the thing is, because you take letters or words from a language and put it together, it doesn't necessarily mean that the meaning is going to be the same, you see. So it's like when, I'll give you a good example, it's like when people say the name Allah is arm, leg, arm, head, right? That's nice, it sounds nice, but that's just like an acronym that you can make up. You can take any 3 letters and make up words to go with that. It doesn't mean that that's what it means, because you have to go to the language of the word to get the meaning of that word in that language. So you can't say that because you get a word, say, in Arabic, that is spelt the same as a word in another language or using the same letters or the same tone, that the meaning is the same. It's not, you see. So it's like saying God. Everyone uses the word God, 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 God. But you're like, okay, what language are you getting that word from to translate into English? If you're going to say Greek, it's going to be different. If you're going to Hebrew, it's going to be different. If you go to, Arabic, it's going to be different. So yeah, it doesn't work the same way that because you arrange a set of letters together to form a word, that it means the same thing in the two different languages. Hit the like button. Thank you, Guada9. Okay, I've covered that. I have a question. Ren L rated. Okay, what's your question? You just said I have a question, but you haven't asked a question. Tua, I didn't even hear the phone ring. Kaiser again, Rahul back.
Hi, Sakem Tua.
Rahul, go
Rahul
ahead.
back. I'm learning a little bit Miss Batia, and any tips of you can give me when I'm learning on the class? They said it's good to try to have someone I could talk to, like a friend. So should I, some tips, things I could learn about, you know?
Sure,
And,
sure. That's the best question for today because the master, well, again, it's not a competition, all right? I'm just saying that because of what I'm about to say. The master teacher has said to us that 95 or maybe 99% of our problems and issues are because we're speaking this foreign language. And if we learn the language, that will solve most of our problems because the tones, the vibrations of the language actually help to recalibrate us. And, you know, there are certain tones that, because you know English, which is really a dialect, was by design. Every letter, every tone is by design and it has an effect on you. So learning the language is so important. To give you some tips, I'm not a master of the language either. I'm learning just like everybody else. But the way the master teacher teaches us in the Palahej, the language of time, Shalel Wakut, he says you can learn the language for different reasons. So for example, conversational language, like just learning the words to be able to speak to somebody, you can do that very quickly. So you just replace words that you say every day. So if you're always saying to somebody every day in your vocabulary, you're going to say thank you, then you just replace that one word or two words with the words in Miss Batia. And that's for conversational, so that next time somebody gives you something, you want to say thank you, you're just going to use the Miss Batia word instead. The way that, so that's conversational. So things like you say every day, like you might say good morning, for those who still say good morning, you might say that every day. So you replace that. You might say, how are you? You replace that. So when you're speaking to somebody, it's easy to have a conversation because you say rahubat. They say rahubat, which means greetings. Then you might say kayef athir anta. How are you, right? Kayef, or shall I say, the R's, there are certain tones that you have to use your tongue. You roll the tongue with the R's, like ra, rahubat. There are certain tones. So when you start to learn the language, each letter, each pronunciation, each word, there's some letters that you have to practice to get them right. Like ha, ha. That type of tone comes from the throat. So the tips are learn to write it, learn to read it, and learn to speak it at the same time. Have objectives. If you're able to, you can put labels on things around your house, like door, so that every time you're looking at the door, you open the door, you can learn the word for that. And yeah, speaking it is the best way, because young people or children who speak other languages, or even yourself, how you learn a language wasn't by really getting a book and reading it. It was more of building a vocabulary. So you would listen to the tone from somebody else saying it, and then you start saying it. So babies, children would listen to their parents and they'll start saying mama, dada, and then they start building a vocabulary. And a vocabulary is just adding more and more words that you learn. It's like even if you're studying music or anything, it's about building a vocabulary. So the the more you build your vocabulary, the more you use. So I'll give you one last example before we take on this call. Always try to extend what you're saying. So for example, if you said, yeah, like for example, how are you? You say, how are you? And then you say the person's full name. So if you were saying, how am I, asking me, you might say, Kayef Athir Antak Saken Sakamreye. You keep adding words. Think of words you can add to the sentence to extend it. So if you said, how are you? Someone might say, how are you? And you say, I am good. Yeah. So you say, Anuki Kawas. Then you could stop there and say, Anuki Kawas, or you can say, I am good. Thank you. How are you? The name of the person this day. You see? So then you'll be like, Anuki Kawas Tawat Amun Nabab Gabab Ak K or Kayef Atir Antak Panen Zamut. So what I'm saying, you try to extend the conversation. Don't just say, how are you? I'm okay. And you leave it there. I'm okay. How are you? What are you doing today? And then you kind of carry on with the conversation. I think I've lost the caller. Or is it? No. Okay, cool. Let's go. I hope that helped. But join the language group, get the book, speak to people. But the best way to learn is to speak. Hey, Rahubat, Zamaltat.
Greetings. I'm just amazed and about all the efforts you guys are all putting in, and I am grateful. So I have a question about reincarnation. I'm very confused about it because I have no like religious background. So I understood some of the things you were saying about reincarnation, but my first question is, if your relative dies before you and they're younger, are they your ancestor?
No. Well, they're not your ancestor, but they're your bloodline or your family. They're your Muslafi. Well, I just said ancestors. They're part of your Salah, part of your race. So, no, ancestors are before you.
Okay.
But you know
And
what's
then,
interesting about that question, as I was just reasoning it out? Because beings come, souls could be, so when you say older than you, souls that are young, souls can come that are younger than you, but the soul is older than you, if you get what I mean. So it can be
yes.
interesting, but you're looking at them as a physical younger person than you, but if their soul is older than yours, then yeah, they would also be older than you in that sense. So I just thought about that when I answered the question. But go ahead.
Okay, I understood your answer. And number two, let's see, how should I say it? So if our ancestors are being reincarnated, those 24,000 times or so you mentioned, when we are honoring or asking our ancestors for help, if they're busy being reincarnated, how are they helping us? I was confused.
That's funny, the way you said they're busy being incarnated. Well, the thing is, when we say ancestors, you have more than one. So just because one is reincarnating doesn't mean the others are. And you can not everybody keeps coming back. Initially, the point of coming here was to master this realm and leave and don't come back. But because we're not being taught the right information so that we can master it and elevate ourselves, we're not meeting the grade. And that's why we're being given chances to keep coming back to learn. And that's why, for example, Wu-Sabat is here right now to help people like grow, because what the other things like religion, etc., were doing was stifling your growth spiritually. So now you get the opportunity to not have to come back. I didn't actually, give you thanks for your, what you said initially about what we're doing, and we thank you for that. And you didn't also say your name and where you're calling from, because we like to know who we're reaching, what part of the world we're reaching as well.
Oh, it's just Dorinda again from Oakland, California.
Hey, okay. So did you have any other questions, or was that it?
Yeah, just one more. I'm trying to think how should I phrase it. But okay, so when we're to approach our ancestors, and we don't know who they are. What do we do? Like if you were raised in a foster care or something, or orphans, what do you
Okay.
do?
Right. They know who you are. That's the thing.
Okay.
And
Mm-hmm.
if you focus and ask them, they will make you know somehow, some way, shape, or form through your visions, through your dreams, or they will create situations where you will find out. So, for example, you might bump into somebody, a relative, or somebody that knew them. So, the more you beckon on them and call on them to let themselves be known to you, they will make a way to let you know. And because they know you, they're trying to reach you, they're trying to contact you, even though you may not know it. They may be guiding you in your life and you're not even aware that they're doing so. So yeah, eventually, and this is another thing, it's not spookism, but if you elevate and develop yourself enough, you can get to call on them and they will come to you and personify, you know, as I said, in a vision, in a dream, or it's been even known for a physical apparition to appear so that you can then connect the dots to something that will make you know who they are in some way, shape, or form. You have to want it, and by wanting it, you will make it happen. I hope that helps.
It does help. I'm so grateful. Have a great day.
Likewise, Tawa Wadu. Okay, what's the next question? Let's see. Can a close member of your family who you have never met, i.e. grandfather, father, still guide you? Absolutely. That's from Shah Pir Mulan. Yes, absolutely. Like I just answered the previous caller. Yeah, they may be doing it anyway already and you're just not aware of it. And that's important because what happens is sometimes people will ask for help and say, you know, sometimes like, just help me, anyone, please, if there's anyone out there, and they're really like sincere and asking, they get the help. And because they may be in a religious mindset, they will just say, I was in a situation and I called on a name like Jesus or someone else and they helped me, not knowing that it was actually their own Salafu or ancestors. All right, we got another caller on the line. Greetings, Rahubat. What's your name, where you calling from, and what's your question, please?
Hello, my name is Benjamin. I'm from Los Angeles, California. I'm here with a couple of friends. They're debating me. They are Muslim and Christians, and they. So my question is, what is your opinion with the religion?
Okay, this is the point. Religion is based on opinions, and religions, all they do is debate each other because they all claim to follow the same person, but they argue and fight amongst each other, which doesn't make any sense. The monotheistic religions, they claim to follow Abraham, right, who's the patriarch of those religions, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. But yet you have so many different denominations that don't agree with each other and they argue and fight over books that are not authentic. None of them have any originals. And so you get a situation where opinions by men who came after the people that were receiving these scriptures have left and the scriptures have been destroyed. And now you have, like in the case of Islam, you have a lot of hadiths which are literally companions of, they claim to be companions of Muhammad. They all have different opinions. The same thing happened in Christianity where you have the Gospels, or, you know, the people that wrote their accounts of what they remembered. And most of them are like 90 years, like many years after the person left, and they're doing this from memory. And then you look at everyone's account, they contradict each other and they all just fight and argue. And you go to Judaism and any of the other religions, is the same thing. So yes, religion is based on opinions, whereas Wu-Sabat is based on facts, actual facts. It's based on confirmations and research and giving you evidence that you can research and substantiate for yourself. So yeah, that's the difference. Like, you waste your time and energy fighting and debating when you don't need to. Wu-Sabat doesn't have anything to prove to anyone because it stands on its own. It confirms itself by way of the actual facts and the evidence. So that's why nothing can really stand against Wu-Sabat, because when you confirm something for yourself, it's not a belief. It's not you following somebody else. It's like, if you just believe in, that's what somebody was saying, why do they need to read the books? If you don't read the books and do your research, then you're just in a belief. You're just believing me. How do you know what I'm saying to you is correct? How do you know that I'm not setting you on a tangent or leading you astray? So you have to confirm things for yourself. And that's where Wu-Sabat is completely different from whatever else came before, because it's here to clear up the facts and to set the record straight on everything and anything you want to know, so that you can basically be in control of your own decisions and your own soul, as opposed to giving it to somebody else who is like the blind leading the blind. All right. I hope that answered the question for you.
Can I ask one more question, please?
Sure. Go ahead.
What is your opinion with heaven and hell?
You see, this is what religion does. You keep asking me my opinions, and it's not your fault. That's what the language of religion does. You know, what do you believe? What's your opinion? You know, and we don't have opinions, because if you're reading the books that these religions are telling you to read, that come from their God or their deity, Allah, Yahweh, etc., if you're reading them, then you will find out it tells you in the book what they're calling heaven and what they're calling hell. These are places mentioned in the Bible, like Amos 5:8, Job 9:9, you know, many places in the Bible where they give you the names of Taurus, Orion, Pleiades, and depending on what language you're obviously using, you get other words like, you know, Usir, you know, Kisil, Anu, you know, they're different words that are being used for heaven. But the word heaven comes from the word haven, which is a docking station in space, because most of the religious books are really stories about extraterrestrials that have come from different star systems, different constellations, and have come to the planet and have basically relayed a message to different people. And due to a lack of understanding or technology at the time, they didn't know how to interpret what they were seeing. So they would write it in the language that they could use to describe the experience, you know. But yeah, so we don't deal with opinions. Heaven can also be a state of mind. Hell can be a state of mind or a place. In ancient times, there was a place known as Hades, which was dealing with, you know, caverns and places in the earth. And so a word in a language can be the problem, because if you don't understand the language, you can't then break down the word and to know what it means. And so you're left to people, other people telling you this is what it means. And so a word can mean a place, an incident, a situation, a mental state. And this is why when you say heaven and hell, these can be literal places, they can be states of mind, and they can be symbolic stories relating to an incident that took place. You know, case in point, Anunnaki, you know, beings that came here from a being called Anu and that was sent here. This place was called Ki at the time. The planet has been known by many, many names. So this is where sometimes one name may be used and you think they're talking about something else, but it's the same word. This planet has been known by the names Terra, Tiamat, Ard, many, many, many names, you know. So depending on where you're reading from and what language you're reading, you're going to get different meanings. This is why Wu-Sabat clears it all up for you. And it's about studying, researching, checking things out, and confirmations that you get for yourself. All right, I hope that's helped.
Yes, thank you.
Right, let's keep going with the... Remember, you can call in if you would like to ask your question live. All right, let's see. Can you call upon a name and then feel that being in your body in the specific planetary chakras? Yes, when you call on a name, this is what we're saying. Names are tones and their vibrations and frequencies. And anybody that has that name or that tone, it will vibrate. So like if you look at an instrument like a piano keyboard, the many notes, right? Altogether you have 7 notes plus the 8th note, which is the octave. You know, in the key of C, for example, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? And if you hit an A, all the other A's will resonate, and you can tell by using a tuning fork. It's the same with names. If there are 20 people called Peter and they were in the same room and you shouted at Peter, all of them are gonna look in your direction because that tone is associated with them. So yes, this is why we say it's important to know the names and the tones that you're calling on, because these entities are energy beings that will affect you because it's a vibration. All right. Yeah, let's take the live call. Hey, Rahubat, what's your name, where you calling from, and what's your question, please?
Rahubat Saken, my name is Kenyan Mwangi. I'm calling from Nairobi, Kenya.
Hey, Rahubat Kenyan, how you doing?
I'm okay.
It's good that we're reaching the world and Kenya as well. So yeah, good to have you on the call. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So from me following you guys, I've come to understand that you've dealt with music, or you're still doing music.
Absolutely.
So I was wondering about this Cocomelon channel. I've been with my niece throughout the holiday, and whenever that sound pops up, her attention goes to a place that I cannot explain. So I'm trying to understand which vibrations are they using, or what are they putting into our children.
This is what we're saying, all the way from things like the Pied Piper, and because children resonate with vibrations and frequency. This is why music is one of the most powerful things on the planet, where you have certain artists, you know, the big name artists, that they will put out a song and there are lots of incantations and, you know, technology in terms of the tones of words that are being used when you listen to them backwards and forwards. And so music is very important, and this is why Panda Babyanun, the master teacher, had to tell us which tones resonate with us as a race. Every person vibrates on a particular tone. Your body vibrates on a particular tone, right? And your race vibrates on a tone. And this is why when you look at the genre of music, some music people will like and others won't like because it resonates with them. And so our tones are FAC. And that's because we had to attune ourselves back to the correct tones. Because when you're saying tones, really everything is movement. Everything that is alive is vibrating and moving. It oscillates. And like, so as musicians or people that we're very creative, music and food are the things that will catch a lot of our attention. So we had to be taken away of our right tone by, first of all, the instruments being made electronic and taken away from their natural vibration, because natural instruments give a different vibration to synthetic ones. And this is why most of the music that you listen to in the Western Hemisphere is samples, is tones that are electronic. So you have to get back into tuning your body to the right vibration and frequency. You know, you have the planet itself is alive and it also vibrates on a resonant frequency. And many tell you that's the Schumann resonance, which means that the natural A tone has been tuned out. So when you get an electronic instrument, they tune the A to 440 hertz, whereas your natural vibration will be 432 hertz. So these are all the things that will have you agitated. You might hear a song, hear a tone, and you just start acting up or behave in a certain way. And the lyrics, with the repetition of the tone, that's why I mentioned the Pied Piper, because this is how people like, and actually it's funny when you look at the Holy Tablets and you look at the picture of, what's his name? There's a musician. I can see the picture now. He looks literally like Quincy Jones when you look through the Holy Tablets. I remember turning and thinking, this guy looks like, I think it's Tubo. if I can remember correctly, but I'll find it and post it in the Telegram group. And Michael Jackson and Beyonce and Jay-Z and the big celebrities, they use music and tone to affect the masses, where it's almost like it's like a religion. And you have certain, you know, like football matches, and they use certain what do they call them? Certain chants to hype you up. When people go to war, they use certain chants. So you've asked a very important question, and we have to learn to use our correct tones, which are F. Yeah. F deals with the resonant frequency of nature. A deals with your body, and C deals with the cosmos, because any sound that you make never stops. It continues to resonate. It's just that it decays after a time. So you hear a sound, it will fade out and you won't hear it anymore, but the vibration is continuous and still going. This is why even the words you speak are so important. You can speak life into someone, or you can speak death or disagreeableness into someone. So this is why people say words are very powerful, and be careful with the words that you say. Experiments have been done with I think Dr. Komoto on YouTube, if or I can't remember. Yeah, I think that's the right name, where he has, you know, water in different jars or something, and he speaks tones to them, and they crystallize based on the tone. And you see the ones that are being spoken negative words, they start to become really, like, the water gets dirty and murky, and the ones that positive tones are spoken to, they form really nice crystal shapes. So when you're looking at yourself as a being that's your majority of you is water or liquid, it's the same. When you're speaking tones to someone, you're literally affecting their being and their vibration. This is why when people are speaking to their children in a negative manner, constantly putting them down, etc., they grow up to be, you know, those tones. And it's very important. So yes, you've asked a very important question, and we are trying to put out positive music as much as possible and try to reverse the negative vibrations on the planet. And lastly, if you think about it, everywhere in the world right now, in somebody's house, and even within the house, in different rooms, you have tones, sounds, people's cars, clubs, businesses, name it. Music is being played right now somewhere around the world. And depending on the tone and the vibration, collectively, it's having an effect on the planet. So you have to remember that when you're in your tone. This is why we put out, if you look on OSM Vision, we've put out the Om, the visualization tones. These are tones that will give your being, your spiritual being, a nice environment to basically elevate. Your mind is more focused, and you can actually, like, tune in. I know I've given you a lot of information, but yeah, you asked a really important question, so I hope that helped.
Yes, I appreciate that. Last thing is I've started my YouTube channel to push the message of the master teacher from this part of the globe.
That's wonderful. That's good news. And
Yes.
you can remix and repost our videos in the language, whatever, because we want this knowledge, this information, outformation to get out to the world. So the more people that reshare our videos or start their own channels, and yeah, push out Wu-Sabat. So we'll support you. Yeah. So yeah, keep us posted. All right.
Thank you. Yep.
Appreciate love. Okay, what else are we saying? Facts. Folks need to get past the holy tablets and read the black book. Yeah, absolutely. And get past the black book and read the actual facts, master secrets, and part. All right. All right. I'm learning everything. I'm new to this. That's okay. Cool. I'm Haru. I love you all. We love you too. Hey, young elder, man. That's young elder in the house. We love you too. But we got to get more close and more united. I see it. We got to come together, bro. You know, there. Let's link up. All right. Let me give a big appreciate love to D Shelton for your donation. Hi, are the African gods like in Odini, Nani, Yoruba, Orisha, the Neteru, the same as the Anunnaki? There are many African gods. I hear many use Chineke. Yeah, again, we can't emphasize this enough. Wu-Sabat is about bringing us all together as one, as we once were in the beginning. So yes, the tribes and different tribes that came out of our original way of life, like Yoruba, they are actually, if you look at their god systems, they actually line up with the ancient Egyptians, which line up with our ancient beings in what people will call Africa, right? Before we split up into different, different tribes, etc. So when you're saying the Neteru, these are our ancestors. They're different from the Anunnaki because even when you say Anunnaki, they're different beings, different species, agreeable and disagreeable. And as you know, there's always, in the three-dimensional world, you always have these polarities. And some prefer a particular type of energy because there are beings that thrive off chaos, confusion, because that's generating a particular type of energy. And we can look at it like Tob and Ra, Yah and Wei, cherubim and seraphim, agreeable, disagreeable, but you got two sides, and originally each side was in its own kind of like realm, and there was a balance, right? Agreeable stayed in agreeableness, disagreeable stayed in disagreeableness, and there was a balance. What ended up happening is cross-contamination, and now there's chaos because you've got disagreeable beings amongst agreeable beings, and it doesn't work because you want to be in a state that is conducive for your being and vibration, but then someone comes in and they're constantly messing with your vibration, and vice versa. So agreeable beings don't like to be in a disagreeable situation. Disagreeable beings don't like to be in an agreeable situation. So the problem now is the world is confused because of the chaos and confusion. You've got to divide and go back to your original state, and then there's balance throughout the universe. All right, I got a caller, so I'm going to have to cut that short, but let's take this call. Rahubat, greetings, caller. What's your name, where you calling from, and what's your question?
Rahubat, my name is Irma, aka Miss TVJ. I have two questions. One, being that you kind of mentioned about the vaccines earlier, and then you're speaking also about the tones again. Now, there was a video that I had sent you guys. I don't know if you saw it because I know you're busy, but they were re-injecting about the blue rays from the blue lights and stuff from the LEDs and from the keyboards, the computers. And I know back in the day, they used to have something called blue blockers, and it was supposedly taken off the market because they would allow you to see who wasn't real back then. I don't know. So I'm saying with the blue light issue now becoming, because being that we kind of they outlawed all the bulbs. Now we're black, the LEDs and everything is blue. And it's supposed to be a thing of mind control. How are you have you have anything to say about it or ever heard of it?
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. But this is why, again, the best thing to be able to do is to apply Wu-Sabat and have what we call a psychic self-defense. And by raising your vibration and opening your third eye, which is becoming a fad now, people just say, oh, third eye is open. But you are able to then, one, protect yourself, because the most powerful thing you have is your mind. You can transform and change energy around you. And, excuse me, that's one of the things we're supposed to master on this realm, how to receive energy, manipulate it, transform it, and so on and so forth. And that's why, you can tell when you're in an environment that you don't feel comfortable in, or with people, or in places with people that you don't feel comfortable in. And you can pick up people's energies and vibrations once you're attuned to it. And what these distractions, and that was a good point you made about the light, because the light is the blinding light. This is why they keep emphasizing light, as in the Illuminati, because illumination or illuminated is saying the enlightened ones. And they push the light, because even in, you know, in religion, they say, I've seen the light, come into the light. When people are trying to cross over, they said, I saw a light, I was told to walk into the light. And they show these characters like Jesus, etc., with a light beaming from them, a halo over their head, or a light beaming from the chakra, which, you know, is the heart seat. And that's all. This is why when people say I'm enlightened, you think it's a good thing, but really it's a trick, because they tell you God was in darkness before he created the light. And what light does, it brings chaos, because without light, remember, there are different types of light. And this is where you get, even in the Holy Tablets or in the Quran and certain books, they tell you about the green light and the amber light. The green light being the one from Michael, the agreeable one, the disagreeable being the amber light. And so in the world today, you have beings that are being tricked into the light, whether you say enlightened, Illuminati, the enlightened ones. And it's not a coincidence that in order for you to get the best rest and sleep, you have to go back into darkness. This is why most people will turn off the lights when they go to sleep, or what they call sleep. And because they know that in your sleep state is when you travel and traverse other realms, etc., meet other beings and so on, they make sure you always have a light. Even after you've turned off the lights, you still have a little light on your TV, on your, you know, router, on your mobile phone, on, you know, some device. Your clock, your alarm clock will have a light to keep that light going. That will distract you, because, you know, once there's light, your body, your being reacts to it and thinks that, you know, that vibration is affecting you. So if you can, make sure when you sleep, you're in total darkness. No phones, no electronics, no lights whatsoever in the room you sleep. And also, if you can, get some thick curtains that block out the light, because you're going to be in that darkness, in the state that God was before he said, let there be light, is when you're going to experience the most peaceful and spiritual experiences. So yes, you've asked a really good question. And this is why certain lights, now of course there are people who work nights and sleep in the day. And the master teacher addressed somebody in one of the recordings where they couldn't sleep, and he was saying you can get, you know, certain lights that mimic daytime when it's actually nighttime, and then you have the lights that mimic darkness. So you have to reprogram your body, and because your body can get thrown off of its you know, circadian rhythm when you're doing things at the times when you're not supposed to, because you have melanin that is more, you have obviously serotonin and your melanin, which is working and operate and rejuvenating you during that time when you're sleeping. And this is what I'm saying about the lights, how it affects your melanin, and they know these tricks. So even with the music, because remember, lights can be transferred into sound and sound transferred into light. So even with the music, they managed, to take away the vinyl, because the vinyl was something that was giving you more of that analog sound, and it affected your melanin. So everything is now digitized and digital, right? This is all part of the conspiracy. Digitizing everything gives you wrong vibrations and wrong frequencies, which are damaging to you.
And it's just subliminal messages and so forth.
Exactly, with the tones, with the messages. And somebody said in the chat, it's true that some of these artists do not know what they're doing. And this is why it's important to learn about the industry and not just be, you know, just just be hyped on, yeah, and then you get these contracts that con you into, you know, basically selling your soul. But yeah, I really hope that's helped you in some way.
Yes, it has. Thank you.
You're welcome. Virgin Island, we want to appreciate, love your donation, and yeah, all a shook divine love to you, and to everyone that's showing divine love to us. All right. Look at that. It's funny. I was just speaking about the light, and somebody, Deborah Kemi, said, "Please, sir, I want you to enlighten us about Yoruba, Orisha, and the Anunnakis and the Tharu." Right. So, if you are born into a tribe and your ancestors practice, you know, like Yoruba, you're connected to those beings, right? Because they're your bloodline. However, we're not saying don't call on them because they're your ancestors. However, you now have infiltration from religious groups and other races that have incorporated certain things into the original way of life, which Yoruba was really animism, right? And as animists, we gave respect and reverence to nature and to our ancestors. We recognize that we're connected to them, we're their bloodline, and they can help us from the other side. Nothing wrong with that. However, when they've introduced blood sacrifices or any type of sacrifice into the practices, that's not our way. That's not the original way of our ancestors. And if you're not directly tied to the bloodline and you're not Yoruba, it's not going to work for you anyway. Having said that, we're all coming together under the umbrella of Wu-Sabat. And I know people like to hold on to their practices and to their things, but this is a much more higher vibration and level that we have to come together under. This is why we have a new language. And people may say, why do we need a new language when in Africa, in Nigeria, in Ghana, in many places, there are thousands of languages, right? The reason is, one, the original language is the most authentic. Two, if we said what language should we have, everyone's going to say, have mine, let's use mine. It causes divisions. Everybody wants to claim and hold on to their stuff. So it's better to start from a clean slate and we all under the same banner speaking one language, so that no one is saying it's mine, speak mine, and then there's going to be confusion and divisions, right? That's the way of religions and technology to keep us divided. All right, so I hope that answered that question about Yoruba. The Natharu are our ancestors, the original ones, and so that's what we should really be coming under. Oh, Rodney, thank you. Keep up the great work. Peace and love from Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, we want to, I hope you guys are helping. Everyone on the live right now, please subscribe to OSM Vision if you haven't done so already. Like the videos, share the videos, join our Telegram group, bring your skills and what you have, because all of us are gods and goddesses, and we come together, we do great things. Okay, internet hustle, Tawu Tak for this info. Antak Athir Afwa. Okay, this is so true about a word in a language, and if one does not really know the language. Okay, cool. Remember, you can ring in 0753 996 382 if you're in the UK. If you're outside the UK, just add +44 before you dial 753 996 3882. All right. Love your teachings. It makes the most sense to me. Anthony Tinto. Yes, the master teacher, partner Babyanun. You have to remember, everyone, this was by design. This was planned. Our ancestors knew this time was going to come, and they actually sent somebody because we cried and we begged and we prayed to say, we're tired of the lies and we're tired of this unfair world. We are tired of the hate, the racism, the divisions, the wars. we're tired of it, and we need to live peacefully in harmony. And they answered us and sent one to come to help us. And a lot of us reject it. But it's the same with everyone that has been sent to a people. You know, Joseph Moroni, he was rejected by the Mormons. Most of them end up being unalived in some way, like Muhammad was poisoned. Jesus was crucified on the cross, as they say. But watch our video and you know that which Jesus are you talking about, because there were three, and you know there's a lot of misinformation. So what we're basically saying, that we've been sent a warner, someone to guide us, and he's here for the whole world. He's here for anybody who is able and willing to accept truth, because that's what they tell you, the truth shall make you free. We want to be free. Of course, you've got the people that want to hold on to the controls, controlling everyone, dictating what you do so that they can feed off of your energy for their purpose, because energy is powerful, you know. So stop being misguided, use your own mind, be able to discern truth from falsehood, and yeah, you'll be all right. According to the master teacher, is you don't believe me, do your own research. Exactly, go and do your own research. Why should we pray for help? You don't have to. This is what I'm saying. Religion is what tells you about praying, and obviously it depends what you know about what prayer is. Prayer is literally communication, and when you communicate, you're supposed to have someone that is a receiver, and then you have a messenger and somebody that is able to respond or, you know, correspond. But you're just praying and talking to someone and you don't get any answers. So that's not what we do in Wu-Sabat. Appreciate you all knowledge. King Rio, thank you. My 4-year-old loves it too. Yes, there are frequencies in the music. Yeah, that's why you have to make sure that you're moderating what your 4-year-old or children are listening to, because it's so easy to get hooked on a tune. They call it a hook for a reason. When hit songs are written because of the hook, because they want to hook you into repetition and repeating something, because that constant repetition of frequency is going to affect you. Okay, let's keep going. How are we doing for time? Okay, we've got time. Yeah, Jabal is the person that looks like Quincy Jones. Thanks, Teddy. Blanks TV. That's what I was trying to say in the Holy Tablets. And the reason, thank you for bringing me back to that, because the same story that the Pied Piper did was using music to lead people astray. And if you look at Quincy Jones and the whole situation with Michael Jackson and other artists, like, there are people that made these celebrities and artists into idols, like IDOL, and they literally say they're idol, but idol worshipping is the same thing when you're saying IDOE, meaning that you're wasting your time and your life following someone doing things that are not really about helping you to elevate your spiritual being. And yeah, so that's why I mentioned Quincy Jones in that sense, because a lot of these children are led astray to follow these artists. And when you start to look at who these artists are signed to and what they follow and what they're doing, is it actually positive? Is it helpful? Is it leading us in the right way or astray? But I see, okay, what member? Okay, cool. See 2 new members. Well done. Hey, can animals be higher beings or ancestors like some? Hey, can animals be higher beings or ancestors like some, or are they just spirit in form without a soul? I see some animals will be more aware, or can souls talk through them, if that makes sense? Yeah, your question does make sense. No, animals only have spirit, so they're alive and they can still affect you, because a spirit is also a vibration. And right now as well, the master teacher has conveyed to us and taught us that extraterrestrials are using animals, especially dogs, as their eyes, you know, to see. Remember, when we say extraterrestrials, we're talking about beings that have a lot of technology and more advanced, and they can utilize and do things in such a way that you might not think necessary. And in terms of, yes, beings that have the ability to shape shift, can incarnate or take on the form of animals, or shall I say, take over the animal's being by implanting their spirit in the animals. And people mix up spirits with souls. So animals do have spirits, and when you have a spirit, you can react in terms of reacting on instincts or mimicking something and imitating. So what do I mean by that? It's like if you're watching a movie, you might see an actor or an actress that has learned the ability to cry and look like they're really emotional or have a soul, but they don't. It's just based on practicing and learning how to cry on cue. So now imagine you have two people. One is going through a situation and they're really crying out of soul, out of emotions. And then you have someone who's also crying, but they're acting. But they're acting so well, you can't tell the difference between the two. And this is what the movies do, right? Movies is moving images. They changed the name from cinema because it was all about sin, because that's what they promote. If you watch most movies, there's going to be some type of deception, disloyalty, fighting, murdering, killings, all kinds of chaos, you know, most of the time. Promoting smoking, promoting all kinds of things that you might think are good, but they're actually not good for you because of the fact that it's entertainment or recreation. How many Dr. York books have you read? That's a very good question. No one's ever asked me that question. I've read hundreds of books, but yeah, so 10 plus would be my answer. What's your answer? If you haven't read any, then start straight away. Start today. Start with our book if you want, because it's online. It's an online course, and then it recommends many books to you. And join the Telegram group. Somebody also said we're always posting books in the Telegram group. Yes, because this is another thing. Like, people will say to me, oh, you're a walking encyclopedia, you know so much, and I wish I could just take your brain and put it into mine. But it's hard work. You have to read, you have to study. If you appreciate, love what I'm doing, you can do the same. And how would I be able to do this and help you guys if I didn't read the books, if I didn't study the doctrine that the master teacher has taught us? So just think about that, and you can be the same. You know, we're all the same. We're all able to study and read and teach and share the information. No one is better than anybody else. So when people say, oh, I don't want to read, but then they want me to read and give them the information, it's like, come on now, we all got to do our part. All right. Is that a new one from D. Shelton? No, that's previous. Okay, cool.
Sheeta sent you €2.49 to say thank you.
Oh, yes, thanks, Sheeta. Thanks for your contribution. Will you do interviews on other channels? That's a very interesting one. A lot of people have asked us, but the thing is, they kind of want to, I don't know, piggy bank on us, like all the work we put in. Yeah, but get Joe Rogan to ask me to come on. Yeah, like, and I'm saying that to say, these big channels that have millions and millions of subscribers and followers, let's see, yeah, we'll put it out there. Anyone who's got a big audience, would they really want us to promote and listen to what we've got to say? If they can deal with the truth? Yeah, if the channel is about what we're about, and it's on the same ethos, and they want to reach the world and spread truth, and they're not going to edit our stuff either. Let us do our own editing, yeah? Because they might chop it up and then, you know what I mean, like do what the technology. If they're not about that, if they're honorable and they can deal with the truth, then yeah, we'll come on the channel. What else? What else? Is it possible that God and other gods control all of and certain birds and other animals? Again, this God question, we got to break out of this spell. Which God? And some gods.
That the D. Shelton said you missed the second part of his question.
There are many African gods. I hear many use Chineke. Yeah, but okay, well, that's not really a question. Chineke comes from Igbo, right? When you hear Chineke, that's Igbo. That's just another word in that language for God. Just like you were saying in Yoruba, you say Orisha. So yeah, that's what the point we keep making. There are thousands of gods. Everyone is a god if you understand what the word God really means. And the problem is not having gods. It's like which god and what do they stand for and what do they do? Are they agreeable or disagreeable? And if you want to bring that term up to date, you're really saying extraterrestrials. Gods, angels, these terms are just dealing with extraterrestrial beings. So yeah, Chineke is from Igbo, and so yeah, people will use words until they know the right tones. In Wu-Sabat, they're going to use what they know, right? So there are many African gods, yeah, and some of them are not agreeable either. Okay, we have another caller, Rahubat. Greetings. What's your name? Where you calling from? And what's your question?
Hello there. My name is Wolf. I'm calling from London. Now, just want to say you guys are doing a good thing over there. But I just have two questions, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, nice one. My first question is about
thank you.
No problem, man. It's about the Gaza situation.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking a lot of, like, you already know it, like, in the news and things, like, a lot of kids are dying, especially, everyone's dying, like, women, children, men, everyone, but especially the kids, so it's very sad. But my thing is that everyone's saying free Gaza, but we know that that land belongs to black people, like our ancestors. So we're basically watching Europeans and Arabs fight over our land. So I was going to ask you, what does Wu-Sabat say about that area?
Okay, got you.
Nice one.
Yeah, with Wu-Sabat, we know a lot more detail and information of what's happening on the world stage. And the thing about what you're saying is facts, it's true. However, we own the planet. We own solar systems and galaxies and so on. And I'm saying that to say that we have to kind of rise above a lot of things, people, places and things, and fighting for, little pieces of crumbs when the whole loaf of bread belongs to us anyway, if you get what I mean. And religion is doing this. Religion is why most of the chaos on the planet are fighting, because people are trying to take over land that, like you said, doesn't even really belong to them, and there is an agenda going on. So Wu-Sabat, where we stand is we want peace and love and unity worldwide. So we wouldn't be supporting any type of atrocities or, you know what I mean, like that type of thing.
Wars or anything like that.
Wars and all of that, because that's what we're trying to avoid. That's what we're saying. These gods are making people think that, like, for example, you say you believe in a God or an Allah or something, yeah, who you say is all powerful, wise and exact, and he knows everything and can do everything, and all he has to do is click his fingers to make things better. So if that's true, he doesn't need you to make bombs and blow up and kill people for him, because he can just go, like they say in Islam, kun fayakun, be and it is. And he can just say, get rid of all the wars, all the diseases, all the hatred, all the racism, all of that. So if these gods are really true and can do this, why are they not doing it? Why are they waiting and seeing all the suffering and the killings on the planet? So we know that these gods that people are talking about, that they're fighting for land, fighting for this, fighting for that, these are extraterrestrials, disagreeable extraterrestrials that they're following, and they want them to provide that type of energy because they feed off of that. You see what I mean? So
Can I just jump back on
yeah,
just
yeah,
on
of
what you
course.
just
Go
said,
ahead.
yeah,
Yeah.
about when you said about the gods, and what you just said is of course is right when you said one snap of a finger, all of this could be like fixed. It could be like paradise, 100%. But if that's not going to get fixed, don't you think then we should take it upon ourselves to address the issue? Because it's like no one ain't coming to save the day.
That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
You.
We're addressing the issue and saying to everybody worldwide, listen, stop that, come together, and we can change everything, because the more people on the planet, because remember, like, governments are controlled by the people, because the people vote the people in, right? And so people think they don't have any power or they can't change things. But you can, from an energetic point of view, from a frequency point of view, from a mental point of view. And the more people that just say, like, we don't want something, you can actually change the conditions, you know. And that's really what we're saying here, like, come together and let's do something about it. And that's what we did when we bought land. We had our land, 476 acres, and we built a place that was peaceful for everybody to come and live in peace and harmony. And we were growing and spreading worldwide. But as usual, that's what I was saying about the agreeable and disagreeable. Like, if you have a place that, let's say, I use this example all the time. You have a clean room that is pristine white and is beautiful, and everybody that is in there is happy and living, you know what I mean, with each other peacefully. And then you have someone that comes in there to, like, mess that up. What are you going to do? Are you going to allow them to come in and mess it up, or are you going to stop them from coming in?
You have to stop them from coming in. That's what I'm saying. It seems like this disagreeable energy needs to leave the planet.
And that's what's happening now.
To be peaceful.
But it's taking time, because people think it's going to happen overnight. It's not happening overnight.
Yeah, of course.
It's come to an end, and it came to an end in the year 2000. So what you're seeing now is it fading away, but it's going to take time to fade away slowly. And the new world is coming, because there's a new consciousness. People can refer to as the Christ consciousness, or like the new dimension that we're moving into. You know what I mean? They call it the Aquarian age, the sun cycle. This is a time where most people around the world that are coming from a spiritual and a more intelligent aspect of their nature are going to be ruling. And all of these wars and stuff is getting rid of the disagreeable that have been causing the chaos on the planet. But it's going to take a bit of time. That's what's happening now. So people call it Armageddon, they call it all types of names, but you start off with the war inside yourself. Like you're speaking, like it's called jihad. Jihad is not supposed to be you going to blow up things and, you know what I mean, killing innocent people. It's meant to be you transforming yourself, fighting between the in and good.
What I'm saying, just to clarify, is not nothing like to take over. I think you kind of answered my next question, which was you kind of answered it within your answer. Was about Egypt, for example. Egypt, because this nothing to do with jihad or something. Because I feel like this is a spiritual thing that's even affecting the youth. Like this is why they're like stabbing each other, killing each other in it. Because I feel like Egypt is our homeland, for example, innit? Not our homeland, whole Africa, the whole world, but that's like a pinnacle of something our ancestors left us, for us to read the rules and to understand in it. So now that's been taken away from us, So that's a sense of your identity taken away from us. But it seemed like, and I hear what I hear what the movement is, and it's big because I've not kind of heard any other organization or anything that black related to get land like that, bring people in. So even that's a big step. But I feel like, not saying get back Egypt, but
I hear what you're saying, 100%.
To just say leave it alone, let's move on. When it's like, wow, like they left it to us, that's ours.
Let me help you there, right?
Clarify,
When you look at Egypt today, honestly, have you been there before?
No.
Right,
no, bro,
I've been there a few times, right? The master teacher told us that when you look at Egypt today, honestly, you're looking at like a graveyard. You're looking at a derelict version of greatness, what we used to have, and so that's why we rebuilt it, known as Tamaray, Egypt of the West. But he said, even with that was just to show you what we're capable of, and it's a blueprint. We're going to rebuild it even bigger and much more, you know what I mean, grand than the old one. And this is what I was saying about fighting over crumbs or something that is now ruins, even though people go there like tourists, and it's been taken over by the Red Arabs, and it's now like you said, desecrated. So you don't even really want it, but it's good to
That's
go
a
there
wise way
and
of
look at
seeing
it.
you know.
But
I
we're
have to
gonna rebuild.
give you that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
actually wise. I get you on that. It's like a breadcrumbs. It's like, what is it now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like leftovers.
Exactly.
Kind of thing.
100%. So this is what I'm saying. When we come together, we can do anything we want, rebuild anything, because we are those people that had the DNAs within us. Our ancestors are working through us. So like we're in a different day and time. Look at the movie Black Panther. It was showing you how you can rebuild like Wakanda, you know what I mean? And you have everything. And this is what we're saying, that worldwide, those who want peace, those who want harmony, it's happening. It's just that it's going to take a bit of time, you know. But yeah, I feel you, and I'm going to move on. But
Nice one.
I appreciate your questions. Yeah.
Nice one. Thank you, man.
Peace.
Cool.
Okay. From Canada, what can you tell me about the 3 days of darkness that people are talking about? Again, this is what I'm saying. Who are these people and what are they talking about? But you have alignments. So yeah, again, you have to tell me which people are talking about it and what are they saying about it. But there are planetary alignments and certain things taking place. But 3 days of darkness. Do you know what's funny about this darkness thing, yeah? Do you know that there are places on the planet, like Nome, Alaska, where you have darkness for 6 months, yeah? So depending on where you are and how the planetary bodies block what you're calling the sun, you can be in what you're calling darkness, but it's actually a shadow state, yeah? Because what a shadow is when something is blocking and casting a shadow, like from the sun. If you've got the sun there and there's an object in the way, that object would cast a shadow. And this is why we say the sun never stops shining, the sun doesn't rise and it doesn't go down. It's just that when it's in a particular, or when the earth is in a particular position where you have the satellites in between, like the moon, and then you got the moon is a satellite of the planet, and then you have obviously the sun, and certain points or certain planets align in a particular way, they will shed darkness or a shadow on the planet. People call them eclipse, lunar eclipse, solar eclipse, etc., etc. But that's what you're talking about, all right, in terms of darkness. If our ancestors are the ones who should give our focus to in the afterworld, who are they? Do we become spiritual advisor for our grandchildren, etc., or do we have to complete 24,000 life cycles first? No, the cycles are just to give you a number of cycles that you have in order to perfect yourself and not to come back. It doesn't mean you have to do all 24. It's like, all right, if you were going to take your driver's license, take your driver's exam or any examination, you know, like you're like, okay, you can go and pass your driving test first time. Many people do. I passed first time. And some people may have to take that test over and over and over because they keep making mistakes. Like they don't know how to reverse, or they don't know how to park properly, or they speed too much, or they brake too soon, they don't look in the mirrors. There are many things you're supposed to learn in order to pass the test. If you go the first time and you fell on how to reverse park, you're gonna go away and perfect that, right? So your next test, you might get that right, but then you forgot how to look in the mirror before you pulled out. You might fail the test because you've not looked at the mirror, right? This is just a very basic, simple example because I like to make things make sense or make it easy to digest. So it's the same thing, like you've fallen and come down here to experience and to master this realm, which is the lowest one. The material physical plane is the lowest one, because it deals with things like carnal desires, that's dealing with lust, you know, a lot of the diseases, the 9 mental diseases that people have, which are like pride, ego, envy, jealousy, gluttony, etc. These are the things that cause problems between people. And so if you master the ego, so that will be, let's say the first time round you didn't master the ego, you have to come back and master the ego. Then the second time round, you might still have pride and you still haven't eradicated that. So by eradicating these things, you raise your frequency and your vibration, because you're no longer concerned with the mundane things. Like some people, they're just into materialism, you know, faster car, how many cars, how many Rolex watches, how many houses, all of these things, although they're nice, you don't sell your soul and envy people and have ego because you've got them, and look down on other people who don't have them. Where the higher vibration things like ashuk, love and unity, being helpful, helping others, that helps you to become more of a higher vibrational being, because you understand that you're not tied down by desires of the realm, the physical realm. So these 24,000 times or chances you have are to just help you grow. And some people take a long time. Some people might go for their driving test like 50 times. I actually knew somebody who took their test like, I think like 30 times. And it was ridiculous because, not ridiculous, I'm saying in terms of the amount of times you had to pay to repeat. If you studied properly and did it in 1 or 2 times, in fact, it'd be great, it'd be nice to know how many people passed their test first time or how many times it took you to pass, right? But I'm just saying that to say that as you become an elder, because when you're a child, you do childish things. You do things, some things are silly, you know, and you don't understand being responsible, etc., etc. But as you get older, you're supposed to mature and understand that, you know what I mean, you put away childish toys and childish things and become an adult and become mature. And then you graduate to become an elder. Not by the number of years that you've been on the planet, but by wisdom. This is why Wu-Sabat takes you through right knowledge, right wisdom, and right understanding, which leads you to sound right reasoning. And you elevate as a being. And then you start to look at the important things in life. How do you help other people? How do you share? How do you, you know, that's why people will set up charities and do humanitarian work to get rid of people that are doing, you know, the opposite. So I'm saying that to say that you can become an elder, and then you now guide and help those that you've left behind, like you say, your grandchildren. This is Gen X, by the way, I'm answering your question. So yeah, the ancestors that have gone before you, that have elevated, that are trying to help you make it by guiding you in your decision making, whispering into you the voices you hear in your head. Then you have those that haven't elevated, that are either trapped or stuck in the realm, and they're trying to move on to the next realm and to the next realm. And so they don't have to come back. So they're those that are there to hinder you, because they want to utilize your physical vessel to experience the physical world, because they're stuck in between worlds. And that's what we call being in limbo state. And that limbo state is because you're still have a desire or an attraction that is drawing you or pulling you to this world. Because as I keep saying, everything is energy. You have energies and people that are raising their vibration in terms of their energy and they're going upwards. And you have those that are falling and coming down. And the master explained this as ascending and descending souls. So obviously the ones that are trying to pull you up will suggest and give you inspiration and, you know, messages that will help you to lift up. So you might be like, you know what, I want to stop smoking, stop drinking alcohol, stop staying up all hours of the night, mixing with the wrong people, taking drugs, whatever, to elevate your mind and your being. Then you got the others that like that stuff, They're like, come on, let's go to the party, let's do this, let's do that, let's do drugs, let's do this. So you have those who will pull you up and you have those who will pull you down. And you're in the middle deciding, actually, I'm not going to go with those friends anymore because I don't like what happens when I'm in their company. I don't like the vibration. And that's when you make the decision and make the change, all right? Have you liked this video yet? All right, this is another question. And yeah, a lot of people have. So please like it if you haven't. All right, let's move on. Let's see how we're doing. Benjamin, public domain health issues. How are we going to start talks about energy harvesting on the land and talks about the killing of the people with black magic? Free Larry Hoover. Yeah, free anyone who is innocent. Free anyone. Free Dr. York. Free Dr. Malachi Z. York. And yes, I like what you said in terms of sometimes we don't take baby steps. The baby steps are come together so that you have more hands. Many hands make light work. Come together, deal with the immediate issues, like you say, your health, your mental state, because you need to really be in a sound mind, because there are lots of mental health issues that people are experiencing. Even if it's by way of the stories of religion and the lies or the world you live in, right? They create a lot of mental instability. And so you have to have a sound mind, and you get that by reprogramming your mind, putting in the right information, getting rid of the junk that you've had and saved in your mind all your life. That will stop you having nightmares and all kinds of, experiences that you're having, right? So sound mind in a healthy body. Make sure your body is healthy by the way you carry yourself, what you eat, what you put inside your body. Like, do you exercise? Do you drink water? Do you take herbs? So a sound mind in a healthy body, right? In a clean spirit. Your spirit is clean because the vibration, the energy that you have is conducive around people. And finally, have a pure soul. And when you're vibrating on those vibrations, those resonance, you automatically resonate with others that are doing the same, because that's how it works. So deal with those issues, then we can deal with the other issues, like, the bigger problems that we have to deal with, okay? So start with yourself first, in other words. Is it not written in your laws, ye are gods? Rahubat, which books are from after the doctrine? You mean the hereafter doctrine? Yeah, so we're talking about from the year 2000, coming this way, the master teacher put out a series of books, scrolls, which are the Patarak, Actual Facts, the Master's Secrets, and the many, many updates that he has given us through mouth to ear. Hi, can we see the crystal city above this planet? There are many, many crafts called crystal city, but if you're talking about the main crystal city, some can, some can't. But it's through a spiritual, like when you meditate or like astral project, or remote view, like that you can. But if not, it's outside, and this is why shams have to be released and sent from the crystal city to come and pick up passengers. Oh, that was from Jason Morgan, by the way. Okay, we have another live caller. Rahubat, greetings. Jade, how are you? What's your question and where are you calling from?
Blessings, calling from London. I just want to know more about, you spoke about Abraham, and I think you said he kind of did a deal with, I don't know if it was the Anunnakis or the disagreeables. And I kind of want to know more about that, because that kind of follows all the way to where we are in present day, doesn't it? Yeah. In a way. So I just want to know more about the history behind that. Yeah, there was more, but I'll come back. But yeah, that's it for now.
All right, no worries.
Yeah.
No worries.
All right, thank you.
Right. So what we're saying is that Abraham, according to the monotheistic religions, that's Islam, Christianity, Judaism, they all say that Abraham is the father, their father, right? He is like the patriarch who they all come from. But the thing is that when you study who Abraham was and where he came from or where he lived, he was from a place called Ur in Chaldea, which is in what today people will call it Iraq. That was known as Mesopotamia. And if you then start to read the books that were given to Abraham and then all the way to Moses and so on and so forth, you'll find out that these come from the tablets of the Anunnaki. And so when we say he was chosen by the Anunnaki because they came to that region of Iraq. And if you study his father, Terah, again, they were following and worshipping fire, and there was Zoroastrian, and they followed that religion. That's where the religions of Abraham come from. So these Anunnaki gave these tablets. So the Bible is coming from those Sumerian tablets known as the Enuma Elish mainly. But you also have others like the Epics of Gilgamesh or the Gilgamesh Epics. And you have many other tablets like the Atrahasis, which is where the Bible, the Quran, and the New Testament were grafted from. So this is what we're saying, that when you're dealing with the Anunnaki, that's why everybody's talking about Anunnaki, and many tablets were found and uncovered, even during the Gulf War and the war in Iraq. They found many tablets that gave accounts of, these stories by the Anunnaki. And this is why when you go into the Anunnaki stories, you start to hear about Anu and his two main sons, Enlil and Enki. And as you say, this is what's causing the problem, because these beings were having all kinds of conflicts. And we have a book by the master teacher, Pana Babyanun, Dr. Malachi Ziyuk, called Conflict of the Gods, that goes into that. And when you look at religion today, it's because you have the two sides, Enlil and Enki, and they became known by names in the Bible like Baal, which is dealing with Enlil. And then you have Yahweh, which is dealing with Enki. Enki. And so different names for them doing different things, but the wars between them means that you have people like the words, like any words that is ending with L in the Bible is people that are loyal to Enlil. So, like Zamael, if the words that end with L, yeah, Gabriel, and then you have the ones that end with Jah, like Adonijah, or different names that end with a Jah. They are loyal to Enki. And the two of them have been fighting these wars all the way throughout. This is where it ends up in the Bible as the wars between two brothers, Cain and Abel, Jacob and Esau, and it just goes on and on and on and on, because these two sides, this is why today competitions are also made, where you have, even in sports, you always have two football teams or two teams fighting against each other, because it's all about agreeable and disagreeable, and the energy that is created by the ones who win and those who lose. The ones that lose, they give off a negative energy, and they're sad, they're upset, and sometimes, football matches can end up with people going and smashing things up just because they've lost. And even if you're working, you go to work and it's like people are taking the mick out of each other because of their team losing. And all these competitions just create divisions and wars and chaos. So I hope that's helped you. Okay, let's see. We'll cover that, we'll cover that, we'll cover that. Wow, is that the time? We have 5 minutes left. Wow, the time goes so quickly. It's always a pleasure and an honor to come before you and share Wu-Sabat from Parnabab Yanun. If you haven't got a chance to ask your question or your question hasn't been answered, join our Telegram group. It's in the chat, the link's in the chat, because you can carry on asking your question, and you know, we will do our best. We need more teachers. We need to put our minds together, concentrate. Everything that you can think of within your mind's eye, you can manifest and make happen. How do I make an appointment with, oh, Saken? Well, OSM Vision. Just contact OSM Vision in the Telegram group, and we can, yeah, we can hook that up. I saw that video about the light. Okay. Remember to share. Yeah, in the Telegram group, you can post the video as well so others can benefit from watching it. All right, I'm going to take maybe a couple more. Queen Nubian Universe. During past life regression, I have heard hypnotists guide spiritual attachments into the light to help them. Yeah. Okay, that was kind of a statement, not really a question. What's the question? Because yes, regression can get you to relive or talk about past lives, and some beings may be trapped or trying to reach out and to deal with the attachments. That's what I was saying about if you have desires to the physical world, like if you, this is why even in Hinduism and Buddhism, they teach you about desire leads to suffering and that you should not have attachments. And these attachments basically pull you back because you're dealing with energy. And, you know, so not to have attachments. And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't care and have love or, you know, emotions for people. But
can I ask one question?
Okay, yeah, let me just finish my sentence. But yeah, just make sure that you're not letting anything hold you back in terms of attachment. So when they go into the light, sometimes that is going into a wormhole that brings you right back here to be reborn. That's what I wanted to touch on before your question. Go ahead.
This is a question in the Telegram group that someone's just joined and asked.
Okay.
Why is Wu-Sabat for everyone, but Dr. York clearly came to black people?
No, Dr. York didn't come to black people. You can read that if you read my brother, the Extraterrestrial, and many books. What it is that every race had been sent a warner, right? A guide, somebody for them. This is where the problem comes in, because even though a person is sent to a specific people, the message that they're bringing is one of unity, love, and harmony, because all beings on that vibration, on that level, they're not concerned with the mundane things that keep people divided. They're teaching divine love. You cannot have hate and racism and these things and be on that level of vibration. So Muhammad was sent to his tribe of the Quraysh, and the message was powerful to the point where others wanted to join in. It was meant to be called the peaceful way. Yeah, salam is the root from the peace. That's what salam means, peace. Al-Islam is to the peaceful way. But as you can see, others messed up the message afterwards. They started to say that he was sent to everyone. The same with Jesus. Jesus was sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel only, which was the tribe of Judah and Dan, because they were related. But everybody starts saying, oh, Jesus was sent to the whole world. And no, they were sent to specific people. I already mentioned about Joseph Smith that was sent to the Mormons, right? To a specific people. But the message of love, unity, and higher vibration is a universal message. And anybody who wants to live according to those laws or those galactical laws, of course, is welcome, because it's better to live in peace and harmony, doing the right thing by nature, etc., than to be separated, right? So this is what we're saying, that he's been sent to guide us, because every race, everyone has had their guide and their warner, but the message is universal. All right, so yeah, that's not what Wu-Sabat. Wu-Sabat teaches the universal message which transcends people, places and things, and the mundane things that divide and cause separation. All right. Okay, I think we've come to the end, but do you have another one?
No.
Oh, we've come to the end, but there was one question I wanted to answer for the final one, but let me see if I can find it. And then the rest of you, join the Telegram group.
Keep trying to say who are the 144,000.
Yeah, so we've given so much breakdowns to that. Again, this is one of those questions that ties into, it applies to different people in different situations. It's symbolic, it's literal, and it's also allegorical in certain situations. Because as we say, it's dealing with the number 9. When you add 1 + 4 + 4, that's 9. Dealing with 9 ether, dealing with the time period we're in, where this 144,000 people are being raised to then come back and help teach others. But you also have the counter to that, which is disagreeable beings. Like I said, anytime there's any situation to cause the confusion, the agreeable side will have a message, the disagreeable side will have the same message, but twist it up to throw people off because they're trying to take you off the path. But that's a question we've answered many times in the Telegram group. And for all those joining the Telegram group that are new, when you join, go to the top, hit the name of the group, and you see all the files, media, links, questions that have been answered already. You can search for the phrase of the question you want answered, so you're not going to be ignored if somebody thinks, wow, we've answered this question like a gazillion times. So do that when you join, and you will find your answer. I never heard of Dr. York, but I started having dreams of him in 2019, and then I found your video on golden people, and I've been trying to figure out who those golden people are. Golden children, it's called golden children. So we actually have, I think we covered that whole scroll, but it tells you in that scroll who the golden children are. Okay, you have golden people, people of the sun, because that's what you're referring to when you're saying golden people, but you have specific people or children called golden children that have powers, they have special gifts, they're going to be reawakened and activated because they have a job to do as well in this new cycle. All right. Okay, let me see if that question I was looking for was from Queen, that I wanted to answer, but I can't seem to find it right now. Let me see if I can. Okay, I guess I'm not supposed to answer it because I can't find it. So I might have to leave it. Yep, I can't find it. But if you are in our Telegram group, ask again and we'll answer it there. Okay, so I want to give divine love, a shuk to all of you who join us, who are doing your part to help us, help you, to help others. And, you know, once you're in the group, we have things that we're going to do collectively. The number one being our help to free Dr. York, our help to spread Wu-Sabat, our help to change the world. And it is about, it sounds corny, but we want world peace. You know, we don't want to continue living in the chaos that we've been subjected to for the last 6,000 years. And Wu-Sabat is here, and 60th forces and those causing the chaos on the planet have got to go. As they all teach in religion, when the truth comes, all falsehood will perish until Saturday, because Saturday we have our live classes as well, and you can join on Zoom or on Clubhouse. And then until next week, same time, same place, same channel, OSM Vision, OSM, because our souls matter, and we are in control of our destiny, and collectively we can do anything we want. So until next week, Tawukum wu-wadu moisar. That means thank you all, and What did I say? Wadu, I think I said. Yeah, which means bye. Tawakum, wu-wadu.